Metal handcuffs bite into your wrists as you stand in the freezing wind on a steel bridge that separates two worlds. Floodlights cut through the darkness, turning the falling snow into a blinding white stage with you in the center. On one side, men in heavy coats watch with Soviet eyes. On the other, Western officers in dark overcoats wait in rigid silence. This is Glienicke Bridge, the Bridge of Spies between Berlin and Potsdam, where East and West trade captured agents in the shadows of the Cold War. Tonight, you are the bargaining chip, because if either side decides you are lying, you do not just lose your freedom, you lose your life, and your family disappears into a system that never forgives. Your breath turns to fog as you stare at the chipped green paint on the rail, trying not to think about the crosshairs that might already be aimed at your back. A car door slams behind you. Voices murmur, and someone orders you to walk into the no man's land between empires. You take the first step, and the question that will not leave your head is simple and brutal. After everything you've done, after all the lies, which side are you really on? This is the story of how your life leads you to this moment. But this all started a very long time ago. Level 1. The Border Childhood. You grow up in a gray apartment block near the inner German border, where concrete walls and watchtowers slice the horizon into hard lines. As a child, you think the distant fence lights are just part of the city, like strange stars that forgot how to move. Your father keeps the radio low in the kitchen at night, tuning past official music to catch a thin, forbidden voice from the other side. You sit at the table, tracing circles in the condensation while he pretends he is just fixing the radio, not breaking the law with every turn of the dial. Your mother keeps a small suitcase packed in the closet, and no one explains why, but you understand that your family lives ready to move or vanish. At school, you repeat slogans about unity and strength, but the most important lesson is never written on the blackboard. You learn that you do not repeat at school what you hear at home. One day, a neighbor disappears after making a quiet joke about the government in the stairwell, and adults suddenly lower their voices near that door. You feel something invisible settle over your childhood, a rule that sinks into your bones before you have words for it. Trust is dangerous. Your first real decision is not about politics, it's about survival. You decide that your thoughts will stay inside your own head. From that moment on, your silence is your first secret. Level 2. The Young Loyalist. At 19, the state finally looks back at you. A serious man in a plain suit visits your university and asks to speak to you after class. He praises your perfect exam scores, your clean record, your ability to stay quiet in a world built on informants. He says the country needs disciplined young people who can detect threats and protect stability. He never says spy, he says security and duty. You understand what the offer is behind his careful words. You are being invited into the machinery that has controlled your life since the day you were born. In a small office with frosted glass, your hand shakes slightly as you sign papers promising absolute loyalty and absolute secrecy. You could just say no, keep your head down, live a smaller life, always watched but never important. Instead, you say yes, because part of you wants to be the one watching instead of the one being watched. Training begins in an anonymous building that does not exist on any map. You learn surveillance, report writing, how to read a room without looking like you are reading it. You practice shooting at paper silhouettes that never look back at you. You write sample reports that turn small doubts into large threats using the cold language of national security. When you finally receive your identification card from the security service, your old classmates feel like people from another planet. You visit your parents in your new coat, and you see pride in their eyes mixed with a fear they do not name. You tell yourself that fear is respect. You will not admit, for a long time, that it is something else. Level 3. The Apprentice Spy. Your first assignments feel absolutely nothing like the movies you imagined. There are no crazy trips, no car chases, just long nights in cramped apartments with headphones pressed to your ears. You listen to muffled conversations through hidden microphones, learning the rhythm of strangers' lives one boring argument at a time. You take notes on a factory worker who complains too much, a teacher who uses banned books, a student who asks dangerous questions about the border. On paper, they become potential threats. In your headphones, they sound like tired people who want a better life. One evening, your team arrests that teacher. You watch from across the street as unmarked cars pull up, and men you know step out with practiced calm. The teacher does not fight, just clutches a worn briefcase as neighbors pretend not to see. The next day, his name is gone from the staff board, and his mailbox is suddenly empty. Your report helped make that happen. That hits hard. For the first time, you feel power and guilt hit you at the same time. That night, you stare at your reflection in the dark window, trying to decide what disturbs you more, that you helped erase a life, or that the system did not even need you to feel bad about it. Your superior compliments your accuracy and loyalty, and you feel a sharp thrill of approval. You manage a smile, and then you hate yourself for how good that praise feels. A tiny crack opens in your faith, a fracture that will widen with every mission you take. Level 4, the approach. Your promotion arrives disguised as a transfer. You're sent to a diplomatic post near the border, officially to handle cultural events, unofficially to observe contacts and watch for leaks. On paper, you are a cultural officer, pouring cheap wine at receptions and nodding through speeches about friendship between nations. You start meeting Western officials, journalists, businessmen, all of them curious, all of them careful. One man stands out. He's too relaxed, too observant, always ending up near you in crowded rooms. At first, he talks only about art, food, and travel, topics that feel harmless. Then one night, as you both step outside, he casually mentions the name of that arrested teacher. He should not know that name. You see him watching your reaction, and you realize this is not an accident. You are being tested, not by your own service, but by the other side. Days later, a note appears in your coat pocket, so light you almost miss it. It holds a time, a place, and 3 words. We can help you. You spend nights walking circles through the city, checking reflections in windows, wondering if this is a provocation from your own service, a loyalty trap. You think about your father with his illegal radio, about your neighbor who vanished, about that teacher whose life you helped erase. The night of the meeting, you almost turn back twice before forcing yourself down a quiet side street toward the agreed bench. The man from the reception sits under a dim street lamp, hands visible, posture calm. He talks about corruption and secret prisons, about a future where the walls fall and your country survives the impact. He does not ask you to flee. He asks you to pass information, carefully, slowly, to prevent war and open the system from the inside. The choice in front of you is simple and impossible at the same time. You can stay loyal to a system you no longer fully believe in, or betray it for a side you do not fully trust. You agree to cooperate, not as a defector, but as something far more fragile, a double agent trapped between 2 hungry masters. Level 5, living 2 lives. Your world splits into 2 overlapping realities. By day, you're the loyal officer, attending briefings, analyzing documents, filing reports that seem complete but quietly omit key details. By night, you move through the city like a ghost, performing small acts of treason that feel huge inside your chest. You learn the mechanics of dead drops, the invisible handoffs that keep spies alive. You hide microfilm in a hollow brick near a tram stop, tape-coded notes under a park bench marked with a faint chalk line, or tuck a capsule behind the loose tile in a public restroom. You walk past these places in the morning with other commuters, heart pounding while everyone else just rushes to work. Your Western handlers meet you in quiet apartments that belong to nobody, teaching you new codes, handing you gadgets that feel like science fiction. A camera the size of a lighter, a pen that doubles as a transmitter. You begin passing information that can shift negotiations, expose aggressive commanders, reveal troop movements and missile tests. Your original service promotes you because your intelligence subtly seems sharper than ever. You are rewarded by the very system you are slowly bleeding. At home, you tell your family you are working late, and they accept it with a tired shrug. You cannot tell them that every late night might be your last. You start pushing people away, cutting off friendships, breaking off a hesitant romance before it can turn into real attachment. Every new connection feels like a new hostage that your enemies could take. You develop a calm face that you wear everywhere, a mask that keeps your fear from leaking out. You tell yourself you are doing this for peace, for a future without walls and watchtowers. Some nights, that belief carries you. Other nights, you wonder if you have simply become addicted to the rush of being needed by both sides. Level 6. The tightening noose. The first sign that something feels wrong is small enough to ignore. A file on your desk looks like it has been moved and put back, just slightly out of line. A colleague you barely know asks a casual question about a report from months ago, a report he should not have access to. You start noticing a car that appears behind you on different routes home, always at a comfortable distance. A conversation stops when you enter the office kitchen, then restarts with a forced joke. The security service announces a new internal review, presented as routine. You know better. They are hunting a leak. You tell yourself there are many suspects, that your tradecraft is solid, that your years of caution will hold. Then you see the list of people reassigned, questioned, removed from sensitive roles. Some of them are colleagues you used to drink with. One simply vanishes, his name quietly erased from rosters. Your superior calls you in for what he calls a friendly talk. He asks about your recent movements, your contacts, your opinions on certain coworkers. He watches your eyes more than he listens to your answers. There are no visible cameras, but you've spent enough time in interrogation rooms to know you're not alone. Later, your Western handlers warn you that intercepted chatter suggests an aggressive mole hunt on your side, closing in on someone important. They do not say your name. They don't have to. To stay alive, you start redirecting suspicion towards others, feeding your service partial truths that paint different people as potential leaks. Each half-truth you tell has a cost. Someone else is interrogated longer. Someone else loses their position or their freedom. Your double life stops feeling like a mission and starts feeling like slow, controlled demolition. Sleep comes in short, jagged pieces, full of dreams about doors that never open and footsteps that never reach you. You wake up with your heart racing and your ears straining for sounds in the hallway. You know the noose is tightening. You just can't see exactly when it'll snap shut. Level 7. The Bridge of Spies. The night everything breaks, the city feels carved out of ice. You arrive at service headquarters expecting another round of questions. Another chance to prove how convincingly loyal you can still appear. The corridors are almost empty, your footsteps echoing off bare walls and polished floors. In a small interrogation room, a single bulb burns too bright, turning your superior into a shape behind the light. He slides a folder across the table, and on the inside cover you see your own face clipped in place. The file holds photos of your movements, logs of unreported meetings, surveillance notes from streets you thought you had mastered. They do not accuse you outright. They simply ask you to explain patterns that make sense if you are the traitor they suspect. Explain why you were at a certain park bench so many times. Explain why a car with foreign diplomatic plates appears near your neighborhood again and again. Explain why key leaks always seem to pass through your department. Your mouth is dry, and the room smells like old smoke and sweat. You understand they no longer need a confession to believe you are guilty. They only want to test how useful you might still be as a bargaining chip. After hours of controlled pressure, they take your watch, your belt, your pen, anything that could be used to escape or end things on your own terms. Cold metal closes around your wrists. Instead of a cell, they lead you to a car with blacked out windows and drive into the night. When the doors finally open, freezing air hits you first. Then you see the dark shape of a river and the steel arcs of Glienicke Bridge rising out of the fog. Floodlights snap on, and the world turns harsh and overexposed. On the far side, you see figures stepping from another car, silhouettes that look Western even at a distance. In that moment, it hits you. You are not just a suspect. You are currency in a negotiation that never included your name on the top line. Somewhere far above your rank, someone decided you are worth more traded than buried. Your escort grips your arm and marches you toward the center, where an invisible border splits one power from the other. You notice small details because your mind cannot handle the bigger ones. The crunch of ice under your boots, the steady hum of generators feeding the lights, the way the green paint on the rail flakes under your fingers, leaving dust on your skin. Halfway across, everyone stops. For a long second, both sides simply watch each other across a few meters of frozen air, as if no one wants to make the first move. Someone gives a signal. You're told to walk. Your heart is hammering, not because you fear a bullet from your old side, but because you're no longer sure your new side still wants you either. You have lied to everyone for years. You have sacrificed people, misled services, fed wars of information that never fully belonged to you. What if both sides decided the world is cleaner without you in it? You step over the invisible line that once marked the border between East and West. For a heartbeat, you brace for a shot that never comes. A Western officer takes your arm with a firm grip, an almost impersonal grip, and leads you away. No cheers, no speeches, just a quick medical check and a dense web of questions in the language you thought you wanted to hear more than anything. As the bridge shrinks in the rear window, you realize a hard truth. You did not walk into simple freedom. You walked into another kind of control. Level 8. After the wall. Your new life begins in rooms that all look the same. White walls, metal chairs, folders stacked on tables. Your days fill with debriefings where strangers take your memories apart piece by piece. They want every detail. Names, safe houses, schedules, fears, weaknesses of the people you once called colleagues and superiors. You give them what you can, partly out of necessity, partly because you do not know how to stop. They hand you a new identity, a new passport, a new background story to repeat until it feels almost real. You practice signing a name that does not feel like yours. Outside, the world starts shifting faster than anyone predicted. You sit in a small rental apartment in another country and watch the Berlin Wall fall on a flickering television screen. Crowds cheering on top of the concrete that ruled your entire life. You expect to feel clean relief, proof that your choices mattered. Instead, you mostly feel empty. The structure you betrayed and the side you served both dissolve into history segments and anniversary specials. The secrets that almost got you killed become topics for documentaries and tourist tours of former spy sites. Your handlers move on to new crises. Your usefulness fades with each new earthquake in global politics. You take ordinary jobs under your new name. Office work, consulting, anything that pays the bills and asks no deep questions about your past. But every time someone casually asks where you are from or what you did before, you freeze for a fraction of a second too long. You avoid close relationships because you are tired of building trust on stories you can never fully tell. Sometimes you lie awake wondering what happened to the people you sacrificed to protect your cover. The colleagues you misdirected, the families torn apart by investigations you quietly steered their way. Did they survive the transition? Do they tell stories about a traitor they never saw? In quiet moments, you find yourself stopping on bridges, any bridges, staring at the water while your chest tightens. You realize you left your old country, but the Cold War never fully left you. It lives in your reflex to scan rooms for exits, your habit of sitting with your back to walls, your instinct to trust no one completely. You grow older, and your name becomes just one of many in old files stored in 2 different archives, each with its own version of who you were. You are not remembered as a hero or a monster, just as a useful asset that eventually expired. That is the real cost of your life as a double agent during the Cold War. You trade certainty for survival, loyalty for leverage, and in the process, you lose the one thing no service can ever restore: a simple life where you know, without doubt, who you really are.